Mia, today I almost quit.
Quit what? Your job? The podcast?
No, something much smaller and much bigger.
Now I'm confused.
This morning, I opened my notebook. I looked at everything I still wanted to learn. My English, my goals, the things I've been telling myself I'll do soon. And suddenly, I felt tired. Really tired.
Not physically?
No, the kind of tired that starts in your mind. You look at your dream, and it suddenly feels very far away. Have you ever felt like that?
I think almost everyone has. Sometimes we don't want to quit because we hate our dream. We want to quit because getting there feels impossible.
Exactly. For a moment, I thought, maybe this just isn't for me. Maybe I'll never speak English confidently. Maybe I'll never reach my goals. Maybe I'm just wasting my time.
That's a dangerous moment because those thoughts can sound surprisingly believable.
Yes. But then, something strange happened.
What happened?
I imagined meeting someone who knew exactly how I felt, someone who had stood in the same place years before.
Who was it?
Me, just a few years older. He looked at me and smiled. Then he asked, "Are you really ready to give up? Or are you just having a hard day?" I didn't know how to answer because, honestly, I wasn't sure.
That's a beautiful question. Sometimes we think we want to quit forever, when really, we just need one good conversation.
And that conversation completely changed how I think about giving up. Today, we'd like to share it with you. Because if you've ever wanted to quit learning English or give up on a dream, this conversation might be exactly what you need. So, make yourself comfortable, and let's begin.
So, what happened that morning? What made you feel like giving up?
Honestly, nothing dramatic. No terrible news, no huge failure. Just lots of little things at the same time.
Sometimes those are the hardest days.
Exactly. The night before, I had watched an English video. Everyone in the comments said, "This is so easy," but I understood almost nothing. I kept stopping the video, going back, listening again, and still feeling lost.
That's such a frustrating feeling, especially when it seems easy for everyone else.
The next morning, I tried speaking to myself in English. Just simple sentences. But every few seconds, I stopped. I don't know this word. How do I say that? I've forgotten everything. After 5 minutes, I closed my notebook.
Because you were disappointed?
Very. There's a useful word here, disappointed. When you're disappointed, something doesn't happen the way you hoped. For example, I was disappointed because I didn't understand the lesson. That's exactly how I felt.
And disappointment can become dangerous because after a while, it starts telling you stories.
Yes, stories like, "You're too slow. Other people are better. Maybe you're just not good at languages." The strange thing is, I knew those thoughts weren't completely true, but they still felt real.
Our minds can be very convincing on difficult days.
I looked at my notebook again. There were so many pages still waiting to be filled. So many words I didn't know. So many mistakes I kept making. The dream suddenly looked very far away.
Have you ever noticed that? When you're happy, your dream feels close. When you're tired, the same dream feels impossible.
Exactly. And that's when another useful phrase comes in. Give up. To give up means to stop trying because you think you can't succeed. For example, I wanted to give up learning English. But here's something important. Wanting to give up is not the same as giving up.
That's a big difference. Almost everyone wants to quit sometimes. Very few people actually talk about it.
I sat there for a long time. Then I asked myself one question. What if this is as good as I ever become? That was probably the saddest thought of the whole day.
So, what happened next? Did you close the notebook and walk away? Or did someone change your mind?
I almost closed the notebook, actually. I did close it. I told myself, maybe I'll try again next week.
Next week. Sometimes those two words become next month, or next year.
Exactly. I stood up to make some coffee, and while I was waiting, I remembered something an old teacher once told me. At the time, I didn't really understand it, but suddenly, those words came back.
What did your teacher say?
He looked at me and asked, "Jack, why are you in such a hurry?" I remember laughing. I said, "Because I want to be fluent." He smiled and said, "So does everyone." But fluency isn't built in one amazing day. It's built on hundreds of ordinary ones.
I really like that. Hundreds of ordinary days, not one perfect day.
Then he taught me a phrase I've never forgotten. Keep going. To keep going means to continue even when something is difficult. For example, it was hard, but I decided to keep going. Simple words, but not always easy to live by.
Did his advice change everything immediately?
No, that's the funny part. I didn't suddenly feel motivated. I didn't suddenly love studying. I still felt tired. I still felt disappointed.
So, what changed?
My goal. Instead of thinking, I have to become fluent, I thought, I just have to learn one more thing today. One sentence, one expression, one conversation. That's all.
Sometimes we don't need a smaller dream. We need a smaller next step.
Exactly. And here's another useful phrase. Make progress. To make progress means to move forward, even if it's only a little. For example, I'm making progress because I practice every day. Progress doesn't have to be fast. It just has to exist.
I think many English learners forget that. They compare today's English to someone else's 10 years of practice.
I used to do that all the time, and every comparison made me feel like I was failing. But that morning, I stopped comparing. I opened my notebook again. I learned one new expression. Then I closed it. That was all. Just one page, one small step.
It doesn't sound like much, but sometimes the smallest step is the one that saves the journey.
I didn't know it then, but that tiny decision would change much more than just one day. It would change the next 6 months.
You said that one small decision changed the next 6 months. What happened?
Well, nothing exciting happened the next day, or the day after that. I didn't suddenly wake up speaking perfect English. I still forgot words. I still made mistakes. Some days I only studied for 10 minutes. Some days I didn't study at all.
Really? I thought you were going to tell us about a perfect routine.
No, there wasn't a perfect routine. There was just a habit of coming back. If I missed one day, I came back the next. If I had a bad week, I started again on Monday. I stopped asking, "Am I perfect?" and started asking, "Did I come back?"
I think that's a much kinder question.
6 months later, I looked at my notebook again. This time, something felt different. Not because I had finished it, not because I knew every word, but because I realized I understood things that had once seemed impossible. Videos became easier. Conversations felt less scary. I wasn't fluent, but I wasn't the same person anymore.
That's a beautiful moment. Sometimes progress is so slow, you only notice it when you look back.
Exactly. And that's another useful phrase. Believe in yourself. To believe in yourself means to trust that you can improve even before you see the results. For example, she believed in herself and kept learning every day.
I like that definition. You don't wait for confidence first. Sometimes confidence grows because you keep going.
Yes, people often think confidence comes before action. For me, it came after hundreds of small actions.
So the secret wasn't motivation. It wasn't talent. It wasn't a perfect plan.
No, it was simply refusing to let one bad day become a bad future. Because one difficult day doesn't decide your story. One mistake doesn't decide your future. One week doesn't decide your dream.
And I think someone listening today really needs to hear that. Maybe yesterday was difficult. Maybe this week has been difficult. But that doesn't mean the journey is over.
Exactly. The question isn't, have you failed? The real question is, what will you do tomorrow? Because tomorrow, You always get another chance to begin again.
Jack, can I ask you something?
Of course.
If you could go back to that morning, to the version of yourself who almost gave up, what would you say?
Honestly, I wouldn't give him a long speech. I wouldn't tell him, work harder or be more positive. I'd simply say, don't make a permanent decision because of a temporary feeling.
That's such an important sentence. Because feelings change. A difficult day changes. Even a difficult season of life changes.
Yes, if I had quit that morning, I never would have discovered what I could become 6 months later. Not because I became perfect, but because I gave myself enough time to grow.
Maybe that's something all of us forget. Growth is usually quiet. You don't notice it every day. But one day, you look back and realize, I'm stronger than I was.
So, if you're listening right now, I'd like to ask you something. Is there a dream you've almost given up on? Maybe it's learning English. Maybe it's changing careers. Maybe it's writing a book. Maybe it's becoming healthier. Whatever it is, don't answer too quickly. Ask yourself one more question. Do I really want to give up? Or am I just having a hard day?
Sometimes, those are two completely different things.
Here's a small challenge for today. Not tomorrow, not next Monday, today. Choose one tiny step. Just one. Read one page. Listen to 5 minutes of English. Learn one new expression. Send one message. Open the notebook. That's enough.
Because small steps don't look impressive until you repeat them. Then they become habits, and habits slowly become a different life.
You don't need to feel ready. You don't need perfect motivation. You only need to begin.
And if today wasn't your best day, that's okay. Tomorrow is still waiting for you.
Just promise yourself one thing. If life knocks you down, come back. If you stop for a while, come back. If you lose confidence, come back. The most important step is almost always the one that brings you back.
Because every time you come back, you're proving something. Not that you're perfect, but that you haven't given up on yourself. Do you remember how today's conversation began?
I do. I said, today I almost gave up.
And now, how would you finish that sentence?
Today I almost gave up. But I didn't. Not because I suddenly became stronger. Not because all my doubts disappeared. I simply decided to try again tomorrow.
Sometimes courage doesn't look dramatic. Sometimes courage is opening the same notebook, watching another lesson, making another mistake, and believing that one day, those small moments will become something much bigger.
I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned. Success isn't about never feeling like quitting. It's about not letting that feeling make the decision for you.
Everyone loses motivation sometimes. Everyone has difficult days. Everyone wonders, can I really do this? The question isn't whether you'll have those moments. The question is what you'll choose after them.
So, before we finish, we'd like to leave you with one final thought. Imagine yourself 6 months from today. Not perfect, not fluent, just a little braver, a little more confident, a little closer to the person you want to become. What small step could help that future version of you? Maybe you can take that step today.
And we'd love to hear from you. Have you ever wanted to give up on something, but decided to keep going? Share your story in the comments. You never know who might need to read it.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Every week, we create cozy English conversations to help you improve your listening, build your vocabulary, and feel more confident speaking English.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Keep learning, keep growing, and remember, one difficult day doesn't decide your future.
We'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye.